Alright guys, we are live for Grand Platner out in Sabattus, Maine. So, bit of a trip, about an hour from Portland. And it's about 40 minutes until the event, and already there's a good crowd here. It has the enthusiasm, so we'll take, it's a pretty setting, so we'll take a look. Hopefully you still have reception. We'll take a look at how beautiful it is outside. This is at the American Legion Hall. So already it's getting to be filled up, and it's about 40 minutes before the event. So this is for Graham Platner, and we'll try to talk to some people, ask them why they're here. But yeah, he has a good amount of support, clearly. So that's what's happening. How are you? What's going on? No pressure. I got a little YouTube. I'm just asking people why they're here. Obviously, he has a lot of support, so wondering if you might be interested in.
We're one of those supporters.
Beautiful. I like it. So yeah, it seems like he has real enthusiasm on the ground.
Absolutely.
And what made you support him in the first place?
I saw him at the Bernie Sanders event down in Portland. And we were pretty much hooked after that. And we also went to see him in Brunswick when I was there a few months ago.
So that's cool. So this is your third time seeing him.
Third time.
Impressive. Is he just as good the second time? Was he just as good the second time than the first? Nice.
I'm sure it'll be better at the third time.
Well, you get to see him up close. And how far away did you drive, or is it close by from where you're at now?
It's near here, just in Litchfield.
Okay, not too bad. And what issue is most important for you?
The fascist, attempted fascist takeover of the country.
Do you think Platner will be stronger than Mills in kind of being opposed to Trump, have more popular support on his side, be able to communicate a message in a much more interesting way? So you think he'll be a little tougher against Trump?
Yes.
Did you ever consider Mills at all, or no? Was it Platner fairly quickly?
We've always supported Mills, but I think it's time for a change. He's the one to be that change.
Very well put. Cool. Well, hope you get to enjoy them. Are the other events, are they bigger, or have they all been kind of very intimate events like this that you've gone to? I guess the Bernie Sanders one was pretty big.
Was large.
Okay, interesting. So he has a mix.
It was supposed to be held at a hotel, but had to be moved to the mall because there were more people.
Interesting. The enthusiasm. Do you know anybody who's supporting Mills?
I know a couple of people who are on the fence,
Interesting.
but I'm working on it.
Okay, and what? I like it. What's your plan for working on it? Seems like you know what you're talking about.
Hopefully they're going to be here tonight.
Cool. Nice. That's smart. So there'll be some undecideds here. I like it. Well, that's how you win an election too. Is, I have a YouTube. I wish I could see Mills, but there's just no public event for her. There's no town halls. Right. So.
Yeah, that's what we have a little group in our town. We meet periodically, and we're pretty much Platner supporters.
Interesting.
From the start, I've said, look, we need to see our candidates, we want the positions, but where do you see Mills?
Right. And what issue do you think he might be stronger in? But we talked about Trump. Do you think is Israel important to you? Is it more looking out for local issues like the fishing industry here?
Well, certainly local issues are important, but I'm a little tired of spending all our money on Israel.
Yeah, where else could it go? Very well put. Well, very nice to meet you. I appreciate it. You're awesome. Thank you. I made my YouTube. We got 30 people watching, so I think you convinced some people yourself. Very nice to meet you. Make sure you give it to me when you're done. Appreciate it. Alright, sorry, probably want to sit down relatively soon for a decent seat. Kid Freshie, nice to have you. Although I think you can get a decent seat anywhere in the house, which is nice. So yeah, it's nice. He has very massive events, and he has these small, intimate events where really anybody who wants to ask him something could ask him something. So that's how you win elections. It's like I'm trying to see Mills and trying to see her speak, but it's easier said than done because she just doesn't have any public events. And as that gentleman was saying, he's bringing undecided voters today, and that's how you shift minds. And there's no, if anybody's a Mills fan, there's no opportunity for them to say, hey, see Janet Mills speak, let me know, see from the horse's mouth, let me know what you think. So that's a strategy, I think, for victory. You can see why he's maintaining his pretty strongly in the polls. Let's talk to some people. Just by myself. I have a little YouTube, about 10,000 subscribers. I travel the country covering local elections.
Oh, cool.
So I did like Texas for a month. I did the New York City mayoral election.
Oh, okay.
So sorry if I'm giving you guys a headache or anything.
Yeah, no, I was just curious.
Oh, I
to, like,
appreciate
keep
that.
tabs
Yeah.
on things.
And actually, I wanted to ask you, is there like a general press email to try to get on a press list potentially, or even see if I could do like the election party, which I'm sure you're dealing with a million things, so no pressure.
I don't have the answer to that, but George or Daniel probably.
Okay,
would.
George and Daniel.
George is pretty tall, wearing an olive green
Vest?
top.
Okay, cool.
And then Daniel has white hair, ball cap.
Awesome. I'll look out for them. Thank you. I appreciate that. Another thing, they are cool with independent press. Didn't kick me out. They're very nice people. So that's another thing that I kind of admire and respect. They are very cool with independent people coming to cover their stuff. No pressure, but any chance you'd want to talk and say why you're here? I appreciate that. Thank you. You gave me a nice hello. So again, no good egos and putters. So yeah, what issue is most important to you in this election? What issue is most important to you in this election?
Just getting things straightened out with what's going on in Washington, D.C. It's like a three-ring circus. We really need to show some interest in what's going on and join together and vote for what's right.
Very well put. What about you? Do you want to talk or no pressure? No worries. No worries whatsoever. And are you a supporter of Graham's? Or you're keeping an open mind, or?
I pretty much want to try to vote for him from what I've heard. I like the lady that's in there now.
Yeah, Janet Mills. Yeah, some good support.
But it's just that even though it's the same thing, the Democrats.
Right.
It's just, I think women, even unfortunately, get pushed around a little bit more than the men do. And he doesn't look like he'd take any crap from anybody. My husband was a Marine too,
So yeah, that you know what they're like.
Yes.
Right.
That's right.
Well, I've heard that too. That people really do think his military experience will be able to make him stand his ground.
Yes.
And kind of have that fighting attitude versus, if you're more in the halls of Congress, everything is a compromise.
Like my husband said once, I said, "Would you ever hit a woman?" He said, "Not if you don't hit me."
Well, right. Well put. And were you ever considering Mills, or was it always Graham?
I like Mills. I voted
Okay,
for
yeah.
the last time.
Cool.
This time, I think we need a millionaire.
Yeah. So maybe if she does a different office or something,
Yeah.
you'd go for her. Nothing
Yes.
wrong.
Yes,
I
I would.
mean, she did great against
I
Paula
like
Page. Yeah. Are you concerned about Paula Page in the future? I'm not from Maine, so I find him a fascinating figure being up
I'm
here.
not a Republican.
Right. I'm
just
concerned about
saying.
him. He's kind of the first Trump, He's an interesting
right.
character. And, people are talking about the differences of their views on Israel. Is that a big issue for you, or are you more focused on local stuff?
We don't need a war. We don't need a war. I was in Vietnam veteran's wife. And
Thank you for your service.
it's just not for me. Not if we don't need to. Not when they didn't start it.
Right. So that's been a factor. And as his experience been as an oyster farmer, do you think he'll help the fishing community and do you see it? Yeah, help preserve it. Cool.
Yes.
Well, looks like you got some entertainment. Very nice to meet you. I'm Dodge, by the way. Pleasure. Appreciate it. You're awesome.
He's not hip, no time.
I gotta try to get to see you guys.
Culture, it tells him he's idolized. Yeah, he's got claws, but it doesn't hide.
I like this nice intimate vibe.
His eyes get wide when he gets the chance to serve you up fresh salmon. You might be in for a licking. But at least you know what you're getting. He doesn't care about billionaires. Choose the bear. He sees you as a fellow creature, not some puppet for a living. But if you know what you're getting, you don't think Morgan Wallen is better than Cher. Can't choose the bear. He might drag you, but he won't drug you. He might ignore you, but he won't abhor you. He answers to Mother Nature, and he won't be frightened if you join the legislature. He won't red hats. For the one and only Grand Platner today. Get up for Grand Platner, everybody. Rage and fear and all of that through music over the world. Hopefully you're the beneficiaries of that today. This is a tune about our current Republican senator. I say her name in the lyrics. I don't want to have to say too much. It's called The Yellow Bellied Fool. Here we go. Row is overturned. The felons in control. Court is adjourned. We've reached the point of no return. But Susan, they're gonna gut Medicare. Never make the rich pay their fair share. Make it illegal for trans kids to breathe air. But all Susie's got are thoughts and prayers. Those rights, attention, scammer to bite me.
You can't see anything, bummer.
Maine is not a place for yellow bellied fools.
Give me a minute, hold on. Is anybody else having quality problems? Put a 1 if you have quality problems.
But you won't see us flinching.
Put a 1 if there are quality problems, guys. Put a 2 if they're not. Reception sucks
So
here.
while she may be from here, we'll ship her down to Florida right away and replace her with a Mainer who will put these fucking men
Yeah, the reception's
in
bad.
their place. 'Cause we're not just concerned, we are terrified.
That's good. Glad this might stabilize a little better after a bit.
Thanks so much, everybody. I'm going to.
They don't have Wi-Fi, I asked.
I'm going to do a song by John Kleiner.
It's a good idea.
Wild Reader's Digest. Back of a dirty bookstore.
Wi-Fi.
Plastic flat. With gun on his back. Held out to the floor.
Let's see. I
Well, I
try
picked it up and I ran outside and stuck it to my window shield.
No, I asked again just in case, but
I tell her how good I feel. But your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. They're already overcrowded from your dirty little war. Now Jesus don't like killing, no matter what the reason's for. Yeah, your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. Yeah, I went to the bank this morning. The teller, he said to me, if you join our Christmas club, we'll give you 10 of these flags for free. Yeah, I didn't mess around a bit. I took him up on what he said, and I stuck those stickers all over my car and one on my wife's forehead. But your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. They're already overcrowded from your dirty little door. Yeah, Jesus don't like killing, no matter what the reason's for. And your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. Well, I got my window shield so filled with flags that I can't see. I drove my car up over the curb, right into the tree. By the time they got the doctor down, I was already dead. And I couldn't understand why the man standing at the pearly gates said, but your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. They're already overcrowded from your dirty little war. Now Jesus don't like killing, no matter what the reasons for. Your flag decal won't get you into heaven Thanks so much, everyone. Here's a tune I wrote about a guy who really pisses me off, and it's called The Virus. It's a bouncy little number. There you go. People used to work in this land. Now it's handouts left and right. Back in the day, there was danger. Wolves lurking in the night. There were diseases that could knock you on your ass, liquefy your bowels and turn your bones right into glass. Those were the days, and thank the Lord they're coming back. Hey, hey, RFK, bring back polio today. Let's give measles to all the little weasels who say it's okay to be gay. Hey, hey, RFK, throw those goddamn masks away. Tell the scientists to shove it. Death and chaos, man, we love it. Give me 20 cc's of disarray. Oh my Lord. There's nothing like a virus to stiffen up your spine. Oh, pandemics are the best. They put hair on your chest and keep the woke mob in line. So what if your family hates you? They're just coastal elites, betrayers of the wealthy. That JFK was stealthy, like
So
pretend to have
Guys, tell me how the reception is. Can you hear, right? I hope so.
Give us the brainwash today. Instead of self-reflecting, we're all on ivermectin. Please, Daddy, don't lead us astray. RFK.
Hey, so,
Kids will die, but that's okay. It's for the greater good, like a fire in Hollywood. Hallelujah. It's the end of day.
give me a minute, guys. I'm going to look at reception. Sorry, guys. I had to look at reception. Sorry, guys. I had to look at reception.
That thing you just saw, you didn't see. Don't get all hysterical, just listen to me. That woman, she was evil, a terrorist disgrace. What else was that guy to do but shoot her in the face? Multiple times.
Hey, buddy.
Turn off the video, and Fox News on the TV. It wasn't murder, it was an act of bravery. It's so much easier to live this way. Open up real wide, 'cause here comes some more Kool-Aid. Oh yeah, more Kool-Aid. I wasn't friends with Jeffrey, I never met Khalid. Check the flight logs, you'll never find my name. The files don't exist, well, they do, but they're a hoax. Stop asking me about it, hey look, we blew up some more votes. Oh, turn
Nice,
on
Amy.
the video, put CBS on the TV. It wasn't murder, it was an act of bravery. It's so much easier to live this way. Open up real wide, 'cause here comes some more Kool-Aid. Oh yeah, more Kool-Aid. Here comes a fire hose of Kool-Aid.
It's a fun Epstein song. Rated.
Thanks, everybody. Time for a few more tunes. This next one, I actually have a record coming out in August. It's going to be the debut single. It's about an American hero, one of my heroes. It's called Marshall P. Here we go. They call her queen of the village. From the Christopher Street Pier to the Stonewall Inn.
No, you're good.
Incandescent in her clothes. With a smile that makes you feel like her best friend. Now Marsha P, she was one of a kind. Che Guevara.
Do you mind if I could switch with you? I think I get a better view for this one. Sorry about that.
That
Appreciate it.
P stood for pay it no mind.
Thank you.
She said, I want my gay rights now. I want delegated flag. Yeah, I'm talking about Marsha P. When she hit the street, she made history. Anytime a queen is feeling free, she can claim victory. Yeah, I'm talking Marsha P. sitting with me. Trains run the ways in New York City. We'll be lucky if they cross paths with Marsha P. She gave them food and shelter and the confidence to really truly be. I'm talking about Marsha P. When she hit the street, she made history. Sylvia at the chemistry, giving transphobes the third degree. Yeah, I'm talking Marsha P. Listen to me.
Graham should be on like 5 minutes.
Did that raid back in '69. They learned their lesson pretty quick. Cause when Marsha P got sick of seeing her friends get beaten up, she leaned down and grabbed a brick. That's right. She probably knew the end was coming. Mom had a stranglehold on the game front seat, and she was tired of compromising. She fought her whole life just to be seen. I'm talking about Marsha P. When she hit the street, she made history. But death remains a mystery. But on one thing we can all agree. You can't kill the spirit of Marsha P.
Hey, Lavender, yeah, I am. Hopefully you can hear me. Sabattus, like an hour north of Portland. But I'm staying in Portland. Where are you in Maine?
Thank you so much, everybody. Once again, my name is Joe Sweeney. You can find me on all the evil platforms if you want, Spotify and Apple Music. The less evil ones, Bandcamp, and such. All of those. I'm going to sing you a Christmas song right now. I know it takes long.
Oh, cool. Oh, up near Bangor. You're up there. Well, Lavender, shoot me an email, dodge.landisman@gmail.com, because I'm going to come back up to Maine towards the end of the month. And I'll be in Fitchburg, which I think is north of Portland, so I can do Bangor. Let me know. Shoot me an email. Glad you can hear me. Dodge.landisman@gmail.com. Just my name at Gmail. Thank you. That'll be fun. Yeah, Bangor, it's funny how big of a state it is. Platner's everywhere. Geographically, it's a massive state. I've always wanted to go to Bangor. I've only been to Portland before. Destination Bangor, Maine. Old boxcar. Midnight train. Destination Bangor, Maine. Ain't got no shirt and suits. Don't pay no union dues. King of the road.
You want to hear my list? Well, here goes nothing. I want every vote to count the same. From the far reaches of Hawaii up to Maine. Erase the even total carnage from all human knowledge. I want every vote to count the same. And I want reparations for this day. Because the people who built this country and made it great. I want their ancestors' timeshares paid.
It's fun, isn't it? He's cool. I guess he's Graham's opener. I like it. Instead of just a boring speech, you got this. I think it's more fun.
How am I doing so far, Santa? notice the absence of material things for me on this list. I mean,
Yeah, I like Graham, but I'll let you know how he is in person for
keep
sure.
on asking.
I think he got autocorrected with Platinum, but he does autocorrect.
To be free. Birth control, tampons, and vasectomies. Tell Christians and their lobbies to get their hands off our bodies. Yes, I want abortions to be free. About 700 choices of movie. Time for a wheel of people, not the lesser of two evils. Yeah, it's a bunch of parties, systems. I know it sounds like I'm asking for a lot, Santa. I've been through a lot. For all of us residents of Earth, with consciences, we need to know. Santa, one more thing, if you don't mind. You make your little class of mine. Think it's some no one could ever say. Don't worry, because I'll be sometime. Santa can breathe every possible.
Hey, Sarah. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, guys. Woo! Merry Christmas.
I have time for one more song. And then you're going to get to watch a politician actually answer questions. So refreshing. You're going to know this, the melody of this. I changed the words. But feel free to sing along, to clap along, to pray for the exit of one Susan Collins. Here we go. Here's my story. It's sad but true.
Got a girl named Sue.
About a senator we thought we knew.
Run around, Sue. And around. In town. Classic. Hey. 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 Dion for the win. Oh. Very star. Fight for women, Roe versus Wade. And she voted for Kavanaugh too. Keep away from running against the She likes to play around. Yeah, he takes the care of this town. People, let me put you right. She's in bed for Trump and guys in the story from the state that knows. We trusted her and our pain still blows. Ask anyone if she ever knew the say. So you gotta take out my jacket. Pardon me.
Yeah, you know what she will do. Jack shit for me and you.
Pardon me.
Yeah, she doesn't play around. Yeah, pretends to care in this town. Even let me put you right.
She's
And the Trump guys who's the boy with the story from the state that knows. We trusted her and our pain still grows. Ask anyone if she ever knew. I say, keep away from run against the world. Run around everyone. For Trump there's nothing that she won't do. She blocked the Epstein files too.
Woo! That's pretty great. Weird Al Dion. I like it. A Weird Al version of Dion. Respect. That's a cool opener.
We got a few people that come in that
Can't hear you. No. I don't, I'm just hanging out because I don't understand. Oh, that's just.
Not better? Yeah. Yeah, all right. So we got some folks coming in who may have a hard time standing up for the entire duration of this. So if possible, if you can stand up for the entire duration, let them have that seat, that'd be amazing. Thank you so much.
Anyone want to sit? Do you want to sit? Would you like to sit? I could survive. Get a better view anyway. Perfect. Best opener for a speech ever.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Thank you so much.
They're trying to, very considerate, they're trying to make sure people who want to sit or people who would need to sit more gets the opportunity to sit, so I gave up my seat, but I think we got a better view anyway. But I'll see if there's something open, then I'll try to sit again, but if there's not, then I'm good here.
Looks like everybody's about settled. Good evening, everyone. My name is Platner. I'm a local Sabattus resident.
Volume up, please.
Volume. Anybody catch all that? My name is Doug Moore. I'm a local Sabattus resident. Great. I was going to ask a few questions. Who here is, frustrated and distressed by the current state of politics? Show of hands, who has been involved in campaigns aside from just writing your senators or representatives before? So a few hands. So I'll just let everybody else know, I had never been involved in a campaign before either. I had never donated money to a campaign. I was depressed and feeling bad about things, so I started going to some protests in Augusta. And I started to feel a little bit better, but after a couple, it kind of felt useless. But I met a bunch of people up there that were involved in doing all kinds of good things.
It's easy laughing to you. People are very kind.
I volunteered for the campaign and started to get involved there.
Thank you.
And it really started to help. I started phone banking and then started doing some canvassing around the area. It's not as hard as you might think. So I just wanted to give that pitch there. And also, more volume. I just wanted to give everybody who might not be aware just a little anecdote of information. There was a special election in Texas District 9 recently that went for Trump by 17 points. And a progressive won that seat by 14 points. So that gives me hope, and I'm here to try and convince some of you folks to volunteer with the campaign so that we can maybe give that feeling of hope and a win to somebody else if we can get Graham across the line here. So we need people to sign up with Orion's got some sign-up sheets in the back here. He's going to come around and try, and anybody who's willing, just raise your hand so Orion can give you a sheet. You can put your information down. We're looking for people to phone bank. And if you're concerned about your number getting out there, that's not a thing. That's all masked on the other side of things. It's all automated on your computer. You can do it at home. It's kind of fun. And then we're looking for other volunteers to help join our canvassing team. We're looking to contact at least 36,000 registered voters between now and June 9th when the final primary day election takes place. So the more people we have meeting us in Lewiston to help knock on doors, and if you can't do that and you wanted to knock on your own neighbor's door, we love that too. We just want to make people aware that early voting starts in 2 weeks and the primary election is on June 9th. We want to get as many voters out there for this primary as humanly possible. It felt good being on the campaign. One of our early wins was trying to get Graham on the ballot. Our goal was to do it in one day. We did it in 2 for somebody that had no prior name recognition in a national race. So it felt pretty darn good. So just giving you guys the invitation to share in that. So again, if you would like to at least consider getting involved with the campaign, you can always change your mind. Please raise your hand so Orion could come around and give you a sheet. Appreciate it.
Good to look.
After he hands out a few of those,
Can I shake your hands?
Orion, feel free
Sorry
to
to
just,
meet you.
you know,
How are
hand
you?
them out to no
There he
hands.
is. That's pretty cool. Nice to meet you.
They'll put it in the waistcoat.
Of course. Keep up the good work.
And I'll let the next speaker introduce Graham.
There he is. Very accessible. I got all these too. Sweet. Cool. I got to meet him.
Hey there, my name is Kevin Reddy. I am a Lewiston resident and dad of 2 little kids. There's one right here. And I'm also a postal worker, a member of the American Postal Workers Union, Local 458. By the way, we endorsed Graham a few months ago before it was cool. Sorry, guys. So I'm just, going to say a few words about, kind of why I'm here, why I'm excited for Graham, for this campaign. The first time I was in the same room as Graham, it was at an AFL-CIO event, and I was like eating my lunch, and I heard like some union president like behind me, and like he was walking out with what turned out to be Graham, and he was like, "All right, well, what's your pitch?" And I heard Graham basically say something about running against Susan Collins, and I figured that much of it, and I'm like, "Oh, come on, here we go again." This is baloney. And I just went about eating my lunch, honestly. Sorry. And then, a week, 2 weeks, something like that later, Graham was reaching out to more union folks. I happen to serve on the AFL-CIO executive board. So my name came up. We set a time. Graham was very generous with his time. He spoke for, please don't do that. He spoke for 20 or 30 minutes while I was in my postal truck. And I'll tell you what, by the end of that conversation, I was all in. It was just, forget it. This is not just any other campaign. This is not just any other Democrat. This campaign is about us, and that's the message I got from Graham. That's been my experience so far. It's about working people, working together. Please stand.
It's kind of awesome.
My comic relief. It's like Flavor Flav to my Chuck Taylor. Buddy, no, seriously, it's fine. Down. So, where was I? Flavor Flav. Yeah, no, it's just, that's something that I've been thinking about as a union member. Is how do we broaden our organizing to the broader working class? We can sometimes get a little bit inward focused. We can worry a little too much about our own niche things and not so much about organizing working people. And the fact is, we're all in the same struggle. We're all fighting the same fights. Basically, like in the Postal Service, we've got big money, big corporations, trying to privatize us, trying to break us up, trying to take all the profitable bits, sell them off to UPS or FedEx or somebody. And, we're not a business. You could make a lot of profit. In fact, Wells Fargo Capital, a year ago, I think, about a year ago, put together a complete report on how to privatize USPS and all the value they could extract from us, from our buildings, from our systems, our logistics. Same thing that they did to the paper mills in Jay and in Bucksport. These venture capital thieves, frankly, come in and extract everything they can get, and they take off with their money, laugh all the way to the bank. We're all fighting the same fight. The system is not set up for you and me. It's not set up for working people. And this campaign is about fighting back against that the only way we can, together, all together. One of the things that we've been working on at the AFL-CIO is something called the Contract with Maine's Working Class. I'm going to let my colleague over here, Matt Schlobo, talk a little more about that.
Good evening, brothers and sisters.
Evening.
How are we doing, Sabattus?
Good.
All right, I like it. My name's Matt Schlobel. I work for the Maine AFL-CIO. We're a federation of 200 unions representing about 40,000 workers across the state. I want to talk about this campaign we're working on called The Contract with Maine's Working Class. How many of you feel squeezed by the cost of everyday existence? Groceries, healthcare, education, housing, childcare, right? I think every hand in the room in some way or another feels that directly. We want to build a mass campaign of lots and lots of people to build a shared vision of what we are for, right? Like, what is our vision around the solutions to those core issues that are squeezing us, that are breaking our democracy, and that are driving inequality between the super rich and the rest of us to record levels. And so we're going out, having conversations with people, asking people to fill out a very short survey. We would ask you on the back of the sheet, there are 3 questions. If you would fill those out at some point tonight and hand them in, that would be awesome. We want to build an agenda that all of us co-create together about what is our vision for childcare, what is our vision for healthcare, what is our vision to make housing a human right in this state, what is our vision to address the climate crisis, what is our vision to uphold a real democracy. And these are the issues that Graham is fighting for, and the core message of this campaign is that we need all of us in this. One U.S. Senate seat is incredibly important, but it is not enough. And so we would love you to fill out this short survey. You know, we are on the cusp of May Day. May Day from the 1880s was built around a core fight where workers had a vision. And they said we need 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, and 8 hours for what we will. The basic premise there is that we work to live. We don't live to work. We are humans. We create things of beauty. We are not property, right? And that vision inspired a lot of people. And in a humble way, we're trying to do something similar. We're trying to build a shared vision of what we need, what we deserve, what are fundamental rights that should be inalienable. So I would ask you to fill that out. Our theory of the case here is that we need high participation. We are not going to win these things with a couple hundred people or a couple thousand people. We need lots and lots and lots of people involved. Our other theory of the case is that no one is coming to save us. Graham is amazing. This campaign is inspiring, but all of you are equally inspiring, and we need to organize and build that vision. So I would ask you to fill out this quick survey. We will be in the back the whole time. Take a few minutes. You can do it with a QR code. You can do it with a pen. We want to build something together. I'll hand it back to Kevin for the main intro.
Does anyone need a pen or a survey? Happy to pass them out.
I'll take a survey.
He's really good at that. Yeah, I have nothing much to
Survey.
from there. Just once again,
I have
this
a
is-
pen. Thanks.
This is Naomi once again. Yeah, we need a fighter in Washington. You know, like you said, it's not just about one Senate seat, but you know, man, is that ever something important and powerful to have. So, without further ado, these are my notes. Without further ado, I guess it's my pleasure and my honor to introduce the next United States Senator from the great state of Maine, Graham Platner.
Well, thank you, Kevin and Matt, for the introduction. It is always a pleasure to do this side by side with organized labor. And the fact that we do have May Day coming up, man, stole like all my lines. Man, but the fact that we do have May Day up, you know, May Day exists because American workers in Chicago were striking for an 8-hour workday, and they were murdered for doing so. That's why we have May Day. It is an important thing to remember. It doesn't exist in some kind of theoretical sense. It's not a random day we chose. It's because in the 1880s, American workers struck for what they needed, and they were put down with an immense amount of violence. And we have to remember that there's this struggle that we are in now. This is a struggle that's been going on for a very long time. The struggle between people and those who exploit them for profit is not new. We are merely in another chapter in a long story. And so this May Day, if you have the chance to go out, join a protest, join a thing, I urge you to. It is very much a part of our history as Americans. It's not something random. It's not something that happened to other people. It happened to us. It happened to this country. And we need to look to those legacies.
Can you speak into the mic a little bit more? It's hard for them to hear. Yep.
I don't want to get too close or it gets the bumping sound. I'm running for the U.S. Senate because I think we need to do politics fundamentally differently in this country. I believe that we have reached a point in our political system where we have a politics that is totally inaccessible to the average person. Americans see politics as this theater that is put on by elites. It is the TV ads, it's the pundits, it's the stuff you see in the newspapers. It's campaigns that cost tens, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars. It is something that you can only access, generally, if you're already rich or if you're already connected with power. And for this reason, so many Americans say things like, I don't care about politics, or politics doesn't matter, there's nothing I can do about it. That's because people have been looking at the performance. We have been told that that is politics. We have been told that that kind of elite theater, that's what politics is. That is not what politics is. Politics is about power. And in this society, power comes from one of two things: organized money or organized people. The money is organized. It always has been, and it always will be, until we learn the lesson that we have to organize people again. We have a political system that is not remotely representative of the average American, and therefore doesn't represent the average American. When we look at politics, we don't see people from our communities. We don't see people that look like the folks we see at Hannaford or at the mechanic shop. We see people who come out of a different kind of world. And we are told that they're the ones. They're the ones that we have to rely on to lead us. They're the ones who are competent. They have a specific background, specific educations, a specific background in business, a certain last name or a pedigree. They're the ones who are competent. They're the ones who are worthy of power. It's a nonsense story. The history of the United States shows that power is for those who are willing to organize and to take it. That's it. And we have legacies in our past as Americans that we can be proud of that show us how to do that. We have the legacy of the women's suffrage movement. We have the legacy of the labor movement, of the civil rights movement, of the disability rights movement, the gay rights movement, the gender equality movement, and none of these are legacies of asking permission. Women did not get the right to vote in this country because men gave it to them, or because somebody in power had a change of heart. They got it because they organized and they fought for it for decades. We didn't get a 40-hour work week and an 8-hour work day because somebody wrote another postcard to their congressman. We got it because working people organized and fought for what they needed in the streets, in the hills, and in the halls of power. The Civil Rights Act didn't happen because LBJ thought it was a good idea. It happened because organizers and activists put in decades of work, putting their lives on the line, being beaten, being murdered. But when the day came, they had built enough power to push back against the institutions. That's what got us the Civil Rights Act. We need to understand that we have entered a different era in the American political story. One that looks far more like the 1890s or the 1930s or the 1960s than it does the last 40 years. We are in an era of power, a politics of power. And we have to understand that, as Matt said, no one is coming to save us. No one who has been elevated by the system that got us here or benefited from that system, they will not be the people to rise to this moment in American history. It needs to come from down here. It needs to come from us. We need to understand that our history shows us that it is only through organizing, only through building power at the ground level, that we are going to be able to advocate for ourselves against a system that has been built on purpose to exploit us and to oppress us. People often talk about the political system we live in as being broken. It's not broken. It is functioning exactly as it is designed. It is a system that was built by establishment politicians via policy to extract time and wealth and labor out of working people and put it into the pockets of those who had enough already. I'm 41 years old. I was born in Blue Hill in 1984, back when you could do that. And over the course of my life, I have watched working communities in Maine change. When I was a kid, I knew folks who were sterned on a lobster boat in the summer, plowed driveways, maybe did some carpentry or reeds in the winter. That was enough. That was enough to own a home. That was enough to get your kid to a decent school. It was enough to have access to health care that wasn't going to put you in the poorhouse. I knew guys who put their kids through college as clam diggers. You can't do that now. Now the folks that work those seasonal jobs, who do that hard scrabble way of life that Mainers have been proud of doing for generations, they now pick up extra shifts at Home Depot or at Walmart. Or they have to quit fishing and take a job ashore so they can get health care for their families. That clam digger, he's not putting his kid through college. His kid is taking on a lifetime of debt to get a higher education. And that all happened in my lifetime. And also in my lifetime, we have witnessed the largest transfer of wealth from the working class to the ruling class in the history of this nation. These two things are not separate. The fact that hard work isn't enough anymore down here is directly connected to the existence of Elon Musk. These are the same thing. And we didn't get here naturally. This world that we live in, this economy we're in, this politics that we're in, it isn't organic. It didn't have to be this way. We live in the outcome of policy. Policy primarily written by establishment politicians serving the interests of those who donate the most money to them over the last 40 years. We deregulated the financial banks, got rid of Glass-Steagall. We stopped regulating speculative financial systems, which brought us such wonderful things as the 2008 financial crisis, when they turned housing into a speculative financial product. We've changed regulatory structures to allow corporations to consolidate power and target small businesses and small farms across the nation. We have stopped enforcing monopoly law that we already still have on the books. We just choose not to do it. We choose not to break up large corporate consolidated power because that power has bought our politics. It has purchased our politicians. And we have watched all of this happen while the prices of goods and services that all of us need go up, while our wages remain stagnant. We have watched all of this happen as healthcare collapses in rural Maine. We have watched all of this happen while we watch young people leave our communities because there are no houses for them to buy. And if there are, they can't afford it because some private equity place from out of state paid cash for it. We are watching our communities collapse, but it's not because it had to happen. It's because we got sold out. We got sold out by a political system that does not have our interests at heart. A political system that could not be a better example of than Susan Collins. Susan Collins is the epitome of the self-interested establishment politician who shows up for her donors and always leaves her constituents hanging. Things have gotten worse down here in the 30 years that she's been in office. She brings in a little bit of money to the state to justify the fact that a lot more is getting sucked out of us by a system that was built to make sure that we all work harder and longer and for less. It needs to change. Because we live in a world defined by policy, we can write better policy. And the reason we know we can do it is because we have. As a good son of Maine, one of my heroes is a daughter of Maine, Frances Perkins. Not technically from Maine, but her parents were generational Mainers, and she did her best thinking on the Damariscotta River, and therefore she's ours. Frances Perkins went up into the FDR administration in 1933 as the first woman cabinet member in American history. Served as the longest serving Secretary of Labor in American history. And she went up with the fundamental belief that the purpose of government is to provide good lives for all under its jurisdiction. She welded that philosophy to the political power and will that was built by FDR, and they brought us Social Security. And Social Security wasn't a block grant, it wasn't a tax credit, it wasn't a marginal amendment on some piece of existing legislation. They created it out of whole cloth because they believed a society that could not take care of its elderly was no society at all. It is that political philosophy that built the New Deal programs that dragged this country out of the Depression. Built the society that won the Second World War and beat back fascism on the international stage. Built the society in the 50s and 60s that, for all of its faults, which were many, had the lowest margin of wealth inequality in American history. Highest rates of union density, highest marginal tax rates. I'm sure there's no correlation between those. Throughout my life, I have been told by establishment politicians that dreaming big was ridiculous, that it was a fantasy, that it was never going to happen, and the best thing we could ever do is keep electing the same people over and over again because they know how the system works, and they would bring us crumbs. The challenges we face as a nation, it's not that we can dream big, it's that we must dream big. We need people who can envision a better future, craft the policy necessary to get us there, and then build the political power and will to make it a reality. We are never going to get there if we keep electing people who tell us that fighting for it isn't worth it. And they only tell us that because people that give them a lot of money don't want us to know that government can do good things for working people. In fact, it is our best tool against corporate power. It's our best tool against exploitation. It's our best tool to claw back all the billions and, frankly, at this point, trillions of dollars that have been stolen from the American working class over the past few decades. We need universal health care in this country, Medicare for all. We need universal child care. We need a tax code that is going to break up corporate power, go after the billionaires who have taken money from all of us. There is no amount of hard work that exists that can just jobs and can't even afford their rent. You cannot tell me that a billionaire works so much harder than these people down here, than our friends and neighbors, that they deserve $1 billion and our friends deserve to suffer. You can never justify that to me. We need to claw that money back. We need a tax code that's going to tax wealth at a higher rate than we tax wages, because right now it's the opposite. We need regulatory structures that incentivize small businesses instead of large ones, that incentivize small farms and local food systems over consolidated corporate ones like what we have now. We live in the outcome of policy. We can change the policy. But to do it, we have to learn those lessons from our past, that no one is going to do it for us. Matt made a very good point. A U.S. Senate seat has a lot of power, but it isn't enough. We need to build power the old-fashioned way. Political power, like our forebears did, by organizing people. And so I'm not here today just asking you to vote for me. I'm not here today just asking you to give us money, although for the love of God, please give us money. I'll get to that. I'm asking you to show up. We are asking you for your time. for your labor, for your energy. And the worst part is, we all know that you don't have it. We all know that we live in a society that grinds working people to a nub. And it does it so we don't have time for our communities. So we don't have time for our families. We don't have time for our friends. Because if we did, we would be able to build power. We have to push through that now. What we are up against, the path that we are on, it is a bleak future. It is a future in which what we have seen over the past few months, masked federal agents terrorizing communities, murdering people in the streets, blatant outright corruption being legalized by an activist Supreme Court, a future in which you own nothing, everything becomes a subscription model, you can't fix anything that you bought. That future in which all of us become renters because nobody will be able to buy a home anymore, that's the future they want for us. They know the light at the end of their tunnel. And they are working very, very hard to make sure that we get there, and we cannot let them win. We need to define the light at the end of our tunnel. And that is a society that gives all of us the ability to live a good life. I'm going to tell you a quick story about myself. I have the unique luck of being a disabled combat veteran. I'm lucky enough that in my 4 combat tours, I was blown up enough times that the VA thinks I deserve health care. And that is a ridiculous statement. But in this society, it is luck. Because my VA health care gave me freedom. It gave me the freedom to move back to my hometown and figure out what kind of life I wanted to live. It gave me the freedom to sink my time and my energy and my intellect into mastering the skills necessary to make a living on the sea, which is the best thing that ever happened to me. Ever. Sink time into my community on planning board and as the harbor master. That was just healthcare. And I often like when my creative, hardworking neighbors, they don't have to worry about out of network. They don't have to fight with an insurance company because even after years of diligently paying into the system, when you suddenly need a procedure, they run. It isn't just about the money, it's about the time. Imagine a Maine in which Mainers actually figure out new ways of making a living, different, and that is just with health. Think about if we have more housing, because instead of dumping all of our public money into buckets of blood in places like Iraq and Afghanistan and Iran and Gaza, what if we dump that money into our communities? What if we dump it into our friends and our neighbors? We can do it because we've done it before. We can do it because we can look to the examples of the New Deal. We can look to the times that this nation has realized its challenges were vast and that the only way to tackle them was to do it together. To do it in the service of making a better nation, not for somebody's pocketbook, not for the balance sheet of some hedge fund or private equity firm or some corporation, but for us, for all of us down here. But we have to do it ourselves. In this race, in 2026, we in the state of Maine have the opportunity to do something big. Because when we beat Susan Collins with this kind of politics, we are not just getting another seat in the U.S. Senate. We are showing that this kind of politics, this kind of campaign, this beats someone that the Democratic establishment couldn't get rid of for 30 years.
Very nice. Thank you.
We can show the rest of the country that this is the politics of the future. It's not division. It's not polarization. It's recognizing that down here in the real world, the needs of regular people are the same, no matter what. It doesn't matter who you voted for when the hospital closes, the hospital closed. If your community is dying because young people are leaving because they can't find a house, it doesn't matter how you identify when you go into a ballot, into the voting booth. It doesn't matter. When I go all over the state of Maine, I've been talking to independents, Republicans, Democrats, people who just don't care about politics. If I ask any one of them, do you think you live in a political or economic system that has your best interest at heart? Nobody says yes. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that they are being screwed. But it isn't immigrants, it's not trans kids, it's billionaires. It's corporate power. It's private equity. It's hedge funds. And it's the establishment politicians that built the systems that allowed them to exploit all of us while requiring us to stand around pointing fingers left and right, because it keeps us from pointing our fingers in the only direction that matters, and that is up. Here in Maine, where our communities are still close, where our neighbors who we disagree with will still show up with a chainsaw when a tree falls in your driveway during an ice storm, we still have the asset of community, and we need to use it. We need to realize that by finding common ground down here amongst us, it is the only way we're going to build the power necessary to retake our politics and build a future for all of us. But when we've done it, when we have built power, when we have beaten back fascism, when we've saved democracy, when we've protected freedom, this time it needs to be a different kind of freedom. Not merely a romantic freedom of individual rights, but a freedom that is real. A freedom that is material. The freedom to have time, to have energy, to not be defined by fear and anxiety. The freedom to take risks, start a small business, create art, make music, write a book. The freedom to fall in love and to raise a family and to own the home that you're doing it in. The freedom to live lives defined not by struggle and scraping by, but by dignity and fulfillment. Thank you all very much.
Cool. He was great. I'm impressed. Really connects with people. It's interesting this conversation is about college kind of move past
Now,
mills.
in the service of accessible politics, that's why we do this. This, I think, is our 63rd town hall. The reason that we do them is we have a very unique concept of politics, which is that in order to represent people, you got to go talk to them. Which is wild to me that seems unique, but it is in this modern era. Until August of last year, I was just a normal working guy in the coast of Maine. And if I wanted access to my senator, I couldn't take time off during the week to drive down and talk to an intern in Augusta or Portland. And I certainly couldn't afford to play to some fancy fundraiser. If I wanted access to my senator, they were going to have to come to Ellsworth on a weeknight or on a weekend so I could go down there and yell at them. They never did. So that's what we're doing. We've been doing these all over the state, from Kittery to Madawaska. We've done them from Oxford Hills all the way to Lubec and everywhere in between. We're going to keep doing them through the primary. We're going to keep doing them through the general, and I'm going to keep doing them after I get elected.
All right.
We don't screen questions. We don't screen people. Everybody is welcome. Everybody can ask whatever question they want. If you can't go out and face the people you're asking to represent and answer hard questions, maybe you shouldn't run for the U.S. Senate.
Here, here.
So, in the service of that, if you've got a question, raise your hand and I'll point to you. I think the room's probably small enough where if you project, we can all hear it.
We got a mic right up.
Oh, never mind. Eli's got a mic. Eli, you doing mics? Dude, Well done, sir. Eli is a super volunteer extraordinaire. Also, someday Eli is going to be president of the United States. Yeah. Yes. Long hair. Thank you, Eli.
Yeah, I gotta put him to bed at night.
Sorry.
You hold it. Okay, thank you. I love being identified by the long hair. It's a giveaway that I'm a journalist. I'm Nathaniel Eisen. I write for Inside Climate News. My question is, why should a voter who cares about climate action vote for you in the primary?
So, before we had outright fascism in the streets of this country, I would have said that climate change was the single greatest challenge that we faced. Sadly, in the short term, we got to deal with the fascists. I work on the water. I make a living on the coast of Maine. The health of the Gulf of Maine is rather important to my way of life and the way of life of my community. It's the second fastest warming body of water on Earth. We have seen, even in the past decade, shifts in the lobster industry, shifts in temperatures as it creeps up the coast. That challenge, the challenge around climate change, it is not going to be solved by doing what we've been doing, because that's not working. And I also do not think it can be solved by municipalities and states. I actually think that so much of the responsibility has been put down because the federal government has abdicated its role to think long term and to invest massively in something that's big. We need to get off fossil fuels. We also need to tax the ever-living hell out of the companies that made a lot of money on fossil fuels while they destroyed the planet. We need to take that money and we need to sink it into building national infrastructure around energy, around renewables, and around a national grid that is built to provide energy to American communities, not built to protect a corporate balance sheet. We built the highways. We built the Tennessee Valley Authority. We had the Rural Electrification Administration when we electrified all of rural America in a decade in the 1930s. We've done this kind of thing before. It requires political will and public investment. And with public investment needs to come some form of public ownership. Because anytime, it's always frustrating to me that we put public money into certain projects in any other part of business. If someone invests, they get to own a share of it. But we put a lot of public money into lots of private things and then they just get to keep it. I think that's insane. It needs to come to an end. For us to tackle both climate change, to deal with our, frankly, carbon footprint as a nation, and to build the infrastructure necessary to harden ourselves and our communities against the ravages of climate change that are coming. Storm events are gonna happen, they're gonna get worse. All of the science points in the same direction. That's gonna require mass public investment. And I firmly want a Green New Deal is necessary. I wanna bring back something like the CCC. I want us to have like a climate corps where young Americans get to invest their time into building things for the nation and learning skills while they do it. Giving them But I just fundamentally believe that a lot of the answers we've been given up until now, which almost always have some form of intermediary profit seeking, that every time we do that, it doesn't work. Of course it doesn't work, because that's the same kind of system that destroyed the climate in the first place. We really need to think about this holistically and long-term. That's where I stand on this stuff. That's what I want to fight for. And so I think that if you are a voter who really believes in climate change, or not believes in, but wants to see climate change as like a key, it is a core to what I want to tackle as a nation. The other thing is, as we build all of this, you'll like this part, we invest public money to rebuild the grid, to rebuild American infrastructure, to harden ourselves. It better be built with union labor. So not only can we put Americans back to work, not only can we invest our money into things that are good for our society, we can also increase the power of working people by incentivizing organization. Yeah. Yes, sir. I can't read the hat, but Eli, he's on the way.
Illuminati.
Wait a second.
Okay, Mr.
I have a quick question. Governor Mills just recently vetoed the moratorium on AI data centers. What's your position on that? I think I can guess, but it's.
I think we can all guess.
So, anytime in all of, frankly, the history of the modern
Graham
world,
Platner running for Senate.
a transformational technology has come on the scene that increases productivity. When it's left in the hands of those who seek profit or of corporate power, it is always used to disenfranchise workers. It is always used to fire people or to somehow make people work even harder, despite the fact that it's supposed to be more productive, because it's for people who are constantly seeking profit. I think there is no question that large language models, what we're now calling artificial intelligence, although I do take issue with that name, that they're going to have a huge impact on productivity. In fact, it looks like a lot of it's going to be jobs that for years we were told were safe. White collar jobs, data entry jobs, that kind of stuff. In fact, jobs in people who are not ready to fall off the cliff of unemployment. I mean, this is a hard thing. It's not like if someone who makes $150,000 a year because they've been doing some form of white collar work that they thought was like a pretty good gig, it's not going to be easy for them just to retrain. They're not going to, at the age of 50, just be able to go do something new now. Not if we don't plan for it. And my biggest fear around AI right now and around this kind of structure is we have no laws in place to deal with any of this. What's really scary is we got people in the US Senate who probably don't even know what large language model even means. I mean, we really do have a lot of people writing policy who don't grasp any of this stuff. To them, it's just kind of like, it's all very new, it's terrifying, and they don't really seem to be doing much. And what's really awful as well is that industry is now investing insane amounts of money into races and into politics to make sure that establishment politicians don't pass anything. Don't try to rein it in. They just want to make as much money as possible. To hell with the rest of us. How this technology gets used, it's going to require a deep discussion between government and labor. It's going to require deep discussion between the people that are creating this technology and putting regulatory structures around it. And what's terrifying to me right now is none of that's happening. And then add on the other side of this, which is the actual material side, which is the data centers. The data centers themselves, people don't know. What is this going to do to our water? What is it going to do to our electricity? Are we guaranteed that it's not going to increase rates for us as it eats up an immense amount of electricity? We need policies in place, like if you're going to build a data center, maybe you also need to co-locate an energy production facility, which actually is good for the workers that are going to build it and good for those communities, because any kind of energy production facility is going to have long-term jobs. It's not just going to go up and then disappear. We need to have thinking like that. The problem is right now, we've got nothing. And these things are looking to be built, and there's like, right now it feels like we're on a speeding train and nobody has any idea how to slow it down. And we don't know who gets to win when we get to the station. Like when it gets there, is it going to be working people and regular folks, or is it just going to be Peter Thiel becoming another version of the rich person he is? Like that is terrifying to me. And so if we don't look at AI through that lens, if we don't look at large language models through that lens, it's gonna be productive. But that productivity, that needs to be spread across our society. If it means that people can work less, that's great. But that shouldn't mean people work less and therefore get fired and now can't afford their house. It means that we need to spread that benefit all around. And what that looks like, there are a whole bunch of different ideas, from taxation, checks, UBI, sinking that money back into the actual larger grids and social welfare programs that we need. But Whatever it looks like, it's gonna have to look like that. It can't look like what it is right now, and right now, we've got no controls on it whatsoever, and that can't continue. Yes, right here. Yes.
My husband and I are recently retired, and we've worked our butts off for years. He just went back to work because we got a retirement home and we wanted no mortgage, and it's just not working out.
Yeah.
He's had to go back to work, and I would like to know what you have to say to people like us who would like to stay retired, but be able to afford taxes, excise tax, everything that goes with that. It all continues. It doesn't go away.
No, it does not. And you know, and like when I talk about working people, I don't mean people that are just currently working. I mean people who work their whole lives and want to live the benefits of that hard work, which we don't let people do anymore. One of these things is Social Security. We need to remove the cap on Social Security contributions. For those who might not know, at about $176,000 a year, the monetary contribution that someone puts into Social Security stops. So every dollar above that doesn't go into Social Security. So someone making $25 million a year, they pay the exact same dollar amount as somebody paying $176,000 a year. It's a regressive tax. When I learned this like 5 years ago, and at first I'm like, that can't be true.
But it is.
That's insane, but it is. It's very true. It means that working people, upper middle class people, they pay in. Rich people don't. Rich people pay in a small portion and then everything else after. If we remove the cap, we don't even have to like raise the rates. If we remove the cap and all wages just contribute to Social Security so everyone's paying their fair share, Social Security is funded forever and all time, and we can expand benefits.
Yeah.
Allowing Americans to retire. Another part of this is universal health care, but not in the way that you're going to think. One of the largest contributors to year after year increases in local property taxes in the state of Maine are health care premiums for municipal employees and school employees. They become huge line items. We have a universal health care system, and we take that out of school budgets. We take that out of municipal budgets. Your property taxes go down. And then, of course, there's just the fact that now you get health care, and you don't have to fight with an insurance company. There are some very practical follow-on effects to things like universal healthcare system that aren't just about the healthcare. It actually takes a lot of this burden off of municipalities and local places, because the problem is we've really put so much pressure on states and municipalities to fix all of these systemic problems, but they can't. They can't because we don't have the tax base. We don't have the political power to really fix things that are systemic. That's what the federal government is for. And the federal government really should be harnessing its resources and its political will to get that down to communities so we can see reductions in local property taxes. And so we can see an increase in services without an increase in local tax burdens, because that's what hits, especially folks living on a fixed income. I mean, if you see your property tax go up magically 13% one year, which these days, that's low.
27.
I mean, you just can't do it. Social Security checks aren't going up by 27%. We're living in this kind of separate world where we have all these structures that people rely on that we have either just ignored or have actually been sucking funds out of, while this larger system continues to make everything else more expensive. And it just doesn't work anymore. And so you've got retirees going back to work. That wasn't the deal. The deal is you work hard and it pays off so you can enjoy your life someday. That was the deal, and this country broke that deal. We need to rebuild it. Yeah. Yep, in the black sweatshirt.
Hi there.
Hi.
I love all of your ideas. My issue is more that The most important thing in this election is defeating Sousa, far and away.
Agreed.
Okay, we have a state that the second district has twice gone for Trump, okay? So I have a two-part question. One is, what is your plan to convince the second district that they are not paying attention to the world? And number two, assuming you get to Washington, it's going to be a whole different kind of pressure than you've ever been under. Everything in your life is going to be torn apart and exposed. The same thing.
Well, they've already done that.
Right.
That was the Democrats.
But my point is, what plans are you going to put in to take care of yourself through this? I mean, clearly, you've done some really good things for yourself in the past, but you're jumping into a whole different arena with people that have no conscience and play dirty tricks. It's pretty easy to figure out if somebody's shooting a rocket at you. It's not as easy to figure out how to deal with extreme hostility day in and day out. And I have been dealing myself with who to vote for in this primary. My life my family is a long-term experience with the Mills family. And I love Janet, but she's 79. The other thing that Janet brings, honestly, is that she's been playing this game for a very, very long time, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. So what can you tell me to convince me that you are going to be able to handle this whole level of stress and exposure and still be able to take care of yourself and represent the state?
I'm going to start with the last one first and move backwards. One, I'll just say, like, when my wife and I agreed to do this back in August, we knew that they were going to come after us. I mean, there's no way that you go up against this. I mean, Palantir is spending $2 million on negative ads against me right now. I mean, these are the people that steal data and spy for the federal government. Yeah, it's not great. Also, I live in Sullivan, Maine. If they want to come down and bother me, they have to deal with my neighbors as well. So there is an element where, by being in rural Maine, I feel very grounded. I'm surrounded by people who have known me since I was a boy. They're never going to believe any of this nonsense because they've known me my entire life. Those are the people who I really care about. And when I first started making a lot of relationships in Washington with Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, Chris Van Hollen, Martin Heinrich out in New Mexico, their advice was, hey, when you win, you got to go home. Don't stay here. The people that stay here, they get subsumed. They go to the cocktail parties. They get taken in by the whole thing. They think they're important. Like, they're not important. They're representatives. And to be a representative, you got to stay grounded, and you got to go back to the people that you're representing. Like, go home. Spend time back in Maine. Spend your time off with your family and in your community, which I was planning on doing anyways, for the record. I already lived in D.C. I went to college in Washington. I went to GW, and I bartended on Capitol Hill. I worked at a bar called the Tune-In, which is just a few blocks away from some house that's a wonderful place. If anybody knows it, it's a great bar. I got to see behind the curtain because I was listening to chiefs of staff and legislative directors and legislative aides and members coming in and talking while I just sat there and got them drunk. And I'll be honest, what I heard was one of the reasons I became really disillusioned with politics, because I had this realization, like, these are the people? Like, I fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. I saw, like, untold amounts of horror because of these people. Some of these people are idiots. Some of these people are incredibly smart. Some of these people are very well-meaning, and some of these people are deeply self-interested and malicious. And honestly, that's just humanity. So I realized that there's nothing special about them at all. They're not unique. Some of them are great. Some of them can't read. It's a fascinating thing. But what it did for me is, like, this is not a Mr. Smith Goes to Washington moment. Mr. Smith already went to Washington, saw everything, got really disillusioned and angry about it, went home and now wants to go back down with all of that knowledge to do something, to try to actually change the way it works and actually represent people. I'm very lucky that I've been able to develop deep relationships with Bernie and Senator Warren, Chris Van Hollen, Sheldon Whitehouse from Rhode Island. The Senate is a place of relationships. It is very small. There are only 100 of them. Being able to like come into it already having built those relationships, and frankly, already having like, I have friends who have worked in the Senate for 25 years. And I knew them long before I was interested in politics. I knew them because I was their bartender. Like I do have this already deep connection to the place without having been part of the place, which is kind of weird. It's a strange little aside my life took. When it comes out, I'm going to take care of myself. One is my wife. Amy is a bedrock for me. And we are trying to figure out what it looks like. You know, does she stay in Maine? Do I go down and just come back? Do we spend time down there together? How's it, we're gonna figure it out. I luckily have a lot of friends in DC, so I'm just gonna crash in guest bedrooms. Which means I don't have to spend money on it, which is great. But there is having her really grounds me. And I'm lucky for that. I also will still live in Sullivan, and I will still come home, and I will still walk up and down Harborview Drive with my dogs, and I'll still walk across the street to the boat launch, and I'll still sit there and watch my business partner put the boat in, and I'll still fret over whether we did the oil change on the Yamaha at the right time. I'm still gonna do that. I won't be able to actually do the work, but I'm still gonna be close to it. And that to me is really important because it was that really helped fix me, quite honestly. Executive office in the state of Maine is very different from the United States Senate. Having legislative experience in the state of Maine is very different than the United States Senate. The United States Senate is its own special place, has its own special sets of rules, its own internal power struggles, that honestly, just because one has been part of politics writ large, doesn't mean that you have any experience in that specific thing. Yes, being shot at and going to the US Senate are vastly different things. I have gotten through the last 9 months. And over the last nine months, people with immense amounts of money and power have ripped my life to pieces, have used every single part of the media apparatus, every single part of like making TV ads to paint me as a truly awful person. And my wife and I are still standing and we're still doing fine. Because to us, it's all nonsense. I cannot take this thing, that part of it, I just can't take it seriously. Because all of us know that it's kind of just a big joke. The way that they use this power. They think politics is about like scandals and embarrassing people. They think politics is about how much money can you raise and then how much money can you blow on TV ads. We think politics is about this. And so for us, no matter what they do, no matter how they come after us, this is my world. I was born and raised in Maine. I love this place. The whole point is to go represent it and to fight for the people of Maine. There is not and I believe in my politics. And relationships like the one I built with Bernie, I think that's what's going to keep me there. It's going to keep me very grounded. Being with other people who went to this place with ideals and have held strong to them. We just need more of those people. We only have a couple right now. We got to add to those numbers because in the doing of that, that's where you get to build the political power to make this stuff a reality.
Second district.
Oh yeah, as for D2, that's where I live. I don't have to read a think piece as to how to talk to like Trump voters in District 2. They're my neighbors and they're my friends, and I've known them my entire life, and I love them because they're good people. They're good people who often have been propagandized and misinformed, but they will show up and help you when you need help. And when I talk to them, for instance, talking about the cap on Social Security, I've had that conversation with a bunch of my friends who are 3-time Trump voters, and every time I tell them about it, they look at me like I've got a third arm growing out of my forehead. They're like, you gotta be kidding me, that can't be true. And then I show it to them, they're like, dude, Well, that's gotta stop. That's the thing. I really do think if we focus relentlessly on the economic realities that we're all living in and the policies that have been crafted to screw us all, and the policies we need to change and create new ones to not do that, I think that's where we make a lot of common ground. And I don't think that actually, it's been working. And we're just gonna keep doing it. I don't see anybody else doing that. I see a lot of like, Donald Trump is bad. Yes, Donald Trump is uniquely bad. Donald Trump is also the symptom of a far deeper rot. And if we don't, if we don't define like the brighter future we want to get to, and then talk about how we're going to get there, if we just campaign on we don't like Donald Trump, I think we'll probably lose again. I'll be honest. It's not enough. People don't want to vote against something. People need something to vote for. They want to feel positive. They want to feel hope. Because right now things feel pretty hopeless. And they're not. But they feel like it. And I think that's how we cross a lot of the aisles. It's how we get a lot of people to come back together, is by finding that common ground again, which we have a political system that has not tried to do that in age now. So that's how. Yes, in the back with the baby.
So, a huge problem today in America, right, is not only do billionaires want our money, not only do they want our money, right, they need every second of our time on our cell phones, right? Yeah. The internet, tech companies have been unregulated since the 2000s, and really before. How do you plan on regulating them and holding them accountable?
So we've turned in this world where like, it isn't just like our dollars that people want, it's us. They want our fear, they want our hope, they want our anger, they want all these things that can be turned into commodified data to manipulate us into purchasing more things. Your data should be yours. We need regulation. You better get paid for it. You also better need to give consent for it to happen. Our only work when they get to monetize who we are with zero penalty. Your data, suddenly like data mining Facebook no longer makes any sense. We can put regulatory structures around them that disincentivize that. We will see a change. We'll see a shift in it. It's not just morally the right thing to do, which it absolutely is. But I think structurally, it's how we give ourselves back a lot of control. Also, the internet should be treated like a public utility. Like this idea against them, that are doing the same thing that Facebook did on its rise to power. They're just trying to pull the ladder up, consolidate more and more power. That should not exist. And a future world that I think we all need to build, it won't exist. That's what federal regulations are for. That's what things like the FTC are for. We can use the power of government to break up these monopolies and to make sure that all of us, all of our data, all of the things that they use to suck time and money out of us, we have control over it again.
I'm just wondering, one of your main objectives, if you were elected, is to get rid of this administration. Just flat out. I'm asking you a simple question because I'm a Republican, but I've never voted for that man. He has ruined and corrupted this whole world as we know it. And yes, a lot of your objectives that you're talking about would probably be taken care of by just getting rid of this administration. So are you going to actually work on this on day one?
Yeah, so so it depends if how we do it depends if we get the majority or not. If we get the majority, it is Senate committee investigation time. We need to shut the White House down for the next 2 years. But not only do we have so much crime and corruption to actually investigate, but it's also a tool. If we haul everybody in the White House under subpoena in front of Senate committees over and over and over again, they won't have time to be in the White House breaking more things. I also think that not one Democratic senator should vote to confirm a single nominee that comes out of the Trump administration. We have to understand that the Trump administration, corporate republicanism, corporate conservatism in America, it has a theory of power. It knows what it wants. It knows how to use the levers of power it has access to, legitimate or not, in the service of that goal. Democratic Party for a long time has had a theory of management. And when you run up against a theory of power without one of your own, you're going to lose every single time. We need to be talking about filibuster reform. We need to be talking about how to impose on the Supreme Court by having ethics oversight, which we could do. And if we held the Supreme Court to the same ethics standards as every other federal judge, there's a compelling case for the impeachment and removal of at least 2. We need to be electing people who think that power is more than just the words on the page. If I go to the Senate, the first time somebody tells me that we can't do this because the parliamentarian said so, I'm going to blow my lid. We need to understand that power really does come from political will sometimes. You have to be creative about it. You have to be creative about how you wield it. Trump administration just breaks the law. All day, every day. No accountability. We shouldn't break the law, but we have to get creative. We have to think about what are the power structures we have access to? How do we bend them to make sure we're getting what we need, like using committee investigations as a mechanism of shutting the White House down. We need to be creative about it, and I firmly believe that if we continue on the path we're on with the same kind of leadership in the Democratic Party that we've had, we're not going to do any of this stuff. I mean, they really see, it's like this whole thing where the moment we have power, suddenly our hands get tied. And despite the fact that the Republicans have been breaking all the norms for years, we're all standing around like, but it's time for us to get back to right now. And so we now just have to respect all the norms and the systems, and therefore we actually can't do anything now. That has to end. It's why we're in the position that we're in. When it comes to things like impeachment, I mean, there's no question the president should be impeached and removed. We know that. I will say my issue with it is this. If we know that we're not going to have the votes in the Senate to convict, I would rather do investigations. Because if we're wasting time and a lot of energy and a lot of visibility on another impeachment, he's been impeached twice. I mean, if we just impeach again and go to the American people, he's impeached, and they're like, yeah, we already did that. So unless we know that we can actually, and by the way, it's possible. Over the next 2 years, as the Republican Party turns on Trump, as things get worse, it is possible we might have the votes for removal. I don't know. But we have to be very smart about that, because I think we should be using our political capital and our energy and time doing things that are going to have like a material impact on the White House and on the structure. And I think investigations are going to be the big one for that. If we don't get the majority.
Don't say it.
Hey, look, no, we have to talk about it. 2 things. One, this is what the organizing's for. By building a broad-based coalition between labor, community organizations, and political groups and individuals across the state of Maine.
Such a waste of 2 lives.
It's all good. It happens every time. That's what we're going to need. That's what we're going to need. We're going to need to mobilize people. We're going to need to get people into the streets. We're going to need to actually figure out how to get people to utilize their power to shut things down. I mean, people often ask me, like, what happens if the Trump administration messes with the elections this November? It's a fair question, and it's not outside the realm of possibility. The answer to that, the starting point to that answer is exactly the same as building the power to knock on every single door and deer stand in the state to beat Susan Collins. It's just local organizing. It's getting people connected with each other. We cannot invent the mechanisms we need to turn out mass power when we need it. We have to build it beforehand. That's what this campaign is. I mean, this campaign is an organizing project first. The organizing project is also the electoral project, but it's also about building real power. Building power that, frankly, we as the campaign don't have control of. I don't want control over it. We all want to build something big and robust that after we win this election still exists. Because we're gonna need that. We're gonna need that power. We're gonna need that ability to turn people out, to have them do things like nonviolent civil disobedience, shutting things down. We're gonna need that in the future, and you don't get it the day you need it. And it all starts here. It all starts looking around this room, seeing some faces you might recognize or you're surprised to see here. Make sure you go have coffee with that person the next couple of weeks. Join the campaign, and if you don't join the campaign, that's fine. Join a food bank, join a union, join Maine People's Alliance, join a local community organization. It doesn't matter, but you gotta join something. It's only in that organizing that we're gonna have the power to deal with it, because if we don't have the majority, structural power, no, look, there'll be things that we should always vote to not fund any of this nonsense. We should hold up these budgets, whether it's for Iran, whether it's for ICE, any of the stuff the Trump administration wants to do, we should use the power of the purse to hold the stuff up, end of story. We can still do that to an extent in the minority. That needs to happen, although we need leadership with a backbone for that to happen. But hopefully we'll get it by then. The other thing we're gonna need is people in the US Senate who think being an activist is part of their job. Chris Van Hollen is a perfect example of this. Last year, he went down to CCOT in El Salvador and he interviewed Kilmar Abrego Garcia. That started the process of getting that guy who'd been illegally deported back to the United States. He got to do that because he was a US Senator. If he was a private citizen, he took some congressmen with him, but if he was just a congressman, I don't think he gets to go, but he was a US Senator. And he said, I am going, and nobody could tell him no. And he knew it. We're gonna need people who think that being an activist is part of the power of the role. I will say this, over the next couple of years, we don't get the majority, we can't slow this stuff down, fascism continues to build. As a United States Senator, I fully intend to get arrested on a protest line or on a picket line. Not as like performance, but as evidence that we need to be fighting back. That people in power need to be working closely with those who have power outside of the structures. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to get through the next few years if we don't have the structural power to deal with it. Right here. Right here, next to the guy in the booth bay shirt. And well, I should have said the Bills jacket, actually.
Thank you for standing up to serve the country again, which you have already done. Taking on Susan Collins is going to be a masterclass. And as this woman said earlier, it's a whole new ball game for you, serving this way. I have a fear of her campaign trying to dig up your past in DC. You've made comments on some of your interviews you've had where you weren't quite sure where you were going, you were distraught. Obviously, my son was an Iraq soldier, 82nd Airborne paratrooper. When he was there, he realized the country lied to him. The administration lied, just like you figured it out. But serving still, you know. And I'm just fearful that Susan Collins' campaign is going to go after you deeper than you realize. You talked openly about your Reddit comments years and years ago and how you were distraught at the time. You made comments that you didn't know really how dangerous it was. Those comments were serious. The ones you made about women, that stuck with me when I heard that. And I hear your heart saying you've changed, you're a different person now, but they're gonna try to find whatever they can on that subject. And as we found out with Eric Swalwell, he was leading in the governor race. Women came out, and that's what happens when you run against people with a lot of money and power. How are you gonna handle that? Is there anything you need to share with us from your past?
Well, I definitely spent a few years working as a bartender and drinking a bit too much and being a relatively standard combat veteran upon returning home. I have not lived a very complicated life. I've never been close to money and power. I've never had some kind of like weird relationships with people. I have a lot of ex-girlfriends, they're all still my friends. I spent years kind of just drifting. Honestly, I mean, pretty much everything's been dragged up. I mean, I've been talking about it since October. And it's I do think, and this is without question, the Republican Party is going to make stuff up.
Right.
Like that's coming. Like this. I mean, this is the party that said Barack Obama wasn't an American. It's the party that went after John Kerry's service. Like that part is coming. That I can't do anything about. I don't know how to. When people are like, "What if they say?" I'm like, "Well, then they say it." I don't know. Like we'll just say that's not true because it won't be. So like it's hard for me to like know what the Republican Party's going to lie about.
Well, I'm just asking, is there anything from your past that they can dig up on a woman that maybe didn't mean no at the time?
No.
Is she going to come forward and say, I was so drunk, I didn't know what I was doing, and...
Like I said, I've not had a very unusual life.
I'm just trying to help you.
Like, Eric Swalwell was doing these things in power. Eric Swalwell was using his position to do this stuff. He had a really bad power dynamic with people, and it seems without question, assaulted people. That is bad. There's no place for that, and it's good that he's been kind of excised from the party for doing this. No question about it. I've never had that kind of power over people. I've gone on dates. I've had girlfriends. I've gone through life. I have relationships that ended. I have one relationship that didn't. I don't really have a.
Just have a plan in place, that's all.
But again, I mean, the hard part here is like, again, if people lie, then we got to deal with it. But I will just say, in my background, in my past, there is not some like big dark secret. I've been pretty much open about my whole existence the whole time. There's a reason for that.
I think we need to see her background. That's what I think we need to see. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to keep hearing that we have to call and thank her. I'm sick of that. I'm here today. I'm sorry, I just kind of blurted out. I apologize.
It's okay.
I've never done this before, and I'm here today to see what you're like in a town hall setting, and I wish you all the best when you do the debate. I truly do. My husband is 100% disabled veteran, Iraq, 07, 08. 29 years, retired. People still don't understand because there is no physical disability that they see. Why he has, to park his car.
They come after me all the time.
I know.
Which is funny because it's like, that means you guys don't.
But here's the deal. Your training that you had, the years of service that you did, and then you continue to do service, less than 1% of the American population volunteers to serve. You are standing here again. Look, did you make some statements? Yes. Did things happen? Yes. Okay, let's go on the Republican side and see who does what, right? I wanted to see your genuineness, your authenticity. I want to see how you handle the questions, the good, the bad, the ugly. Our lives are good, bad, and ugly. I don't know if my vote means anything anymore, you know?
It doesn't this one.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying to you is your training, your background will give you the insight, the experience to pivot, to not leave us behind. I respect that in you. I would love to see you on the veterans side of the committees that you, I don't know how that works. I have, you know, I don't profess, please stop taking me. I left early from work to come here. But I guess what I'm saying is, you're genuine, you appear to be genuine, authentic. Words have to be put into actions should you get elected. I look forward to seeing that. But I do believe that your experience in the military gives you those skills to carry it and represent Maine. She's done a congressional hearing for my husband when he wasn't paid, when he got back from Iraq because he was injured. Took 5 years, and he still did. He still went to reserves every, month for 5 years. Didn't get paid. He went up the chain of command. He did everything he needed to do. Okay. I know I'm going on too long. I apologize.
It's okay.
But
It's okay.
I do feel those skills will serve you well. I do feel you will not forget us. I do feel if you've been honest up to this point, as a woman, I want to see what have you done to change during that time, right? So I'm sick of the BS. I'm sick of seeing all the ads about thanking her. I don't want to thank her anymore. Thank you for what? What am I thanking you for? For taking away my reproductive rights? For taking away my rights in general? For insider trading? I'm sorry. I want a change. So with that, thank you.
I've already gone over time. I'm getting a look. Before I go,
That's good.
We do need money. I mentioned that earlier. We don't take corporate money. We don't take APAC money. We don't take fossil fuel.
Please subscribe, guys.
That's how this.
Only one giving you on-the-ground coverage.
Average donation is $26. So, and 99% of our donations are less than $100. That's how this thing keeps moving. If you can, recurring monthly donations are really helpful. If you can do 10, 15, 25 bucks a month, that actually helps more than 100 bucks today. It allows us to look into the future. It allows us to plan. It allows us to know what kind of money we're going to have on hand in September or October. So if that's possible, it's really helpful. If you can max out at $7,000, that's great too. But most people can't. And so I really appreciate it. Last but not least, I'll just finish with this. We need you. We really do. It's not nonsense. No, it is. This isn't one of those politicians who it's not about me, it's about us. But it really is. This time around, it actually is. And what we've built on the campaign, we have 15,000 volunteers in the state of Maine. Active volunteers. We're gonna need a lot more to beat Susan Collins. And it's not just knocking on doors. It's not just making phone calls. We have a ton of different ways to get involved. So if you go to the website and sign up to be a volunteer, whatever your comfort level is, whatever your capacity, we can find a place for you. So thank you all very much.
All right, guys. I'll ask the people their thoughts, and then I'll sign off. Elections for you. So please do subscribe. It would mean a lot. I thought he did a great job. He answered quite a few questions. Most were substantive. Sorry, I put it on my jacket. Super substantive, and you can see why. There he is. See, and you can see why he's generating a good amount of support. You don't want to be filmed, but
No.
Can I get your thoughts via audio?
No.
No worries.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I apologize.
Oh, you don't need to apologize. Totally fine. Thank you, though. Okay, try to ask somebody. Excellent live. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I think we had a nice amount of people watching. Please do subscribe. I'll be back here towards the end of the month. I'm going to try to see Janet Mills speak. I don't know if that's even possible, but I'm going to try by doing this for that. Can I ask you what you thought? You were. Cool.
He's a nice man.
Yeah, he is. Very down to earth.
We could use him. Boy, I tell you. We need somebody like that. We really do. This country is screaming for help from most of the regular folks. I think you're he's a great guy.
Well put. Do you notice it? Are you Abby had the opportunity to really kind of see him up close, and is there some disappointment that Mills and Collins doesn't necessarily? Are you appreciative of the opportunity to see him up close, and is it a disappointment that Mills or Collins you don't have the same opportunity to really? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, he's there.
Right. So it makes a difference to you.
Oh yeah, he's nice. I'm sorry. My husband was a Marine. You know.
Thank you for service.
He stands like a Marine.
You can tell.
Yes.
Interesting. You can tell.
I just saw the turn once, and I thought it reminded me of my husband.
So I am curious. I think you could put maybe some things to bed with the few Mills people who are still critical about the tattoo. Is it a thing where Marines will just get a tattoo and just like the design and not? It was something that could be interpreted as a Nazi, but it wasn't. It wasn't like a swastika. Right, but they said it could be interpreted as such, and his explanation was, in the Marines you get a lot of tattoos, so it's a thing. Right, interesting.
He was younger.
Right. So no, so that never became an issue for you. Didn't think it was interesting. Yeah. Well, that's why I love coming here and speaking to people like you, because you see what sticks and what doesn't. And it's like none of this sticks. Yeah. End of story. Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll see you at some future events. I appreciate it. Thank you. Of course, thank you twice. What's up? Of course. You're worth listening to. Appreciate it. Cool. I got some good first thoughts. I might ask this kid, the super volunteer, what his thoughts are. He's kind of the super. My dad, my brother. Man, no pressure, but I got a little YouTube. Any interest in talking with me about why you like Graham? No pressure. If you're a little camera shy, or you can give me audio. But cool. You just took to it like water.
For everyone, I was like, I asked him like to explain who was getting called on.
Cool. Makes sense. And what made you want to support Graham? And you're getting involved at a very young age. So what made you want to get involved in the selection? And what do you like about Graham?
So my dad supports Graham.
Cool. Think he has good taste.
Yeah. And so when I heard about like what Graham wanted to do, I was like, I kind of want that involved. And also, we met Graham. Like, has anybody ever watched the like Mission live stream?
Very popular, yeah.
Yeah. I'm the kid from that.
Oh, cool. Oh, so you're kind of a legend in a different way. Lends some star power. I like it. Very cool. Honor to meet you.
So, but he's just a regular guy.
Very well put. And then last question, do you want to be involved in politics someday? I think you have good communication skills. You have the knowledge for it. Well, you're doing it now. That's true.
Literally, student council elections.
Oh, so you're already cool. I think you'll win. I think it's going to be a landslide. Well, thank you. You're the best. I appreciate it. Good meeting you.
Okay.
We got like 40 people watching you. They said you were good.
Has a message.
And then she's in audio.
All right, guys, I might settle it pretty soon. Please do subscribe. I gotta get back to my little dog. Oh, thank you for the interest. It's Dodge Landesman, like the car. It's a weird name, Dodge, D-O-D-G-E. But if you search Dodge, my name, and I've gone to war with the Scientology cult. That's like Tom Cruise is a part of them.
Okay.
So, and they got me fired from like a local TV news job, although this is a lot more fun. But if you search D-O-D-G-E and then Scientology, all this stuff will pop out, pop up. But I
So you
appreciate
do like
it.
kind of independent news?
Yeah, and I love to travel. I've been to 50 states. So I'm like, if there's a way I could have an excuse to travel while doing something important. So I decided to cover all the interesting elections. I was in Texas, cover the New York City mayoral race. I'm going to cover this for a month, and then I'll do like a month in Michigan for the Senate primary.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so all around. Very nice to meet you. Appreciate the interest. Thank you. Cool. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Actually, let's see if some interviews. Let's check some interviews. See if anybody's talking to anybody. Get the vibe. I'm going to ask that gentleman. Dodge Science. Wow, there's a Scientology mission in Bangor? Kind of shocked. I liked your question.
Well, thank you.
It was, it's smart to look ahead and see because you never know what sticks.
Yeah, the thing I thought 6 years ago that we were going to get rid of it. And I thought Sarah had a good campaign. She had great ideas and all that stuff. And then Bill Green came out and said, Susan is our senator. And the first time I saw that,
Coalescing last minute. Yeah, I forgot about her, right. And she had that experience in the Maine legislature.
Yeah, she's been Speaker of the House. She
Right.
did great. My favorite idea that she had was you don't sit people by their party.
Right.
That's
interesting. I like that. Yeah, because that's how you
it's
can actually get worked up.
hard to be to demean people if you sit next to them every single day in the session.
You have to interact. Right.
And I thought she was doing okay. And then when Bill Green,
Snap the finger. Right.
So, although I gotta say, remember my husband at the time, when Susan ran against Tom Andrews, I think it was, way back. Her first
Right.
election.
2000, yeah, or 2006, yeah.
Okay, way back.
Yeah.
And we had a knockdown, drag out scream.
Right. Right. It used to be better, right.
Because he was
Right.
going to vote for her, and I'm like,
Oh, that's funny.
what are you doing?
Well, she's done a job of walking the tightrope. She is as extreme as the most extreme Republican, but she's projected that she hasn't been. So I can understand why your husband for that moment was fooled by her.
It was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Did you want to speak to me, or can I leave?
She's awesome.
I just wanted to get what you thought of him. I was really impressed. He had great answers. He took a question that I asked that he could have been very prickly about and answered it carefully and thoughtfully. And that's what I wanted to know. I mean, he's got great ideas. Nobody's arguing that. But can he handle it in the big leagues? Do you feel like he Yeah. What did it do? I was leaning towards him anyway. I think he's going to want to My issue was my family goes back decades. Janet was my divorce attorney, actually. Oh my goodness! My daughter bought the house that Janet lived in when she was attorney general. I mean, my family goes way back. And I had to feel strongly enough that I was okay not voting for her, which You know, that was it. I mean, can I trust this guy to do what he says he's doing? Is he going to handle it? And I think I said this earlier. Frankly, I love Susan, but she's 79, and that's what we need to get rid of in the Senate. Not her personally, but Chuck Schumer. I mean, I'm 69 myself, but we need a new generation. We need people who are willing to fight. We need people who come in with a different concept of what their role is, and are perfectly willing to look at some of these idiots and go, "What the hell are you talking about?" And
Can I get your name if you're willing to?
you know, we need new blood, and I understand that. But yeah, I mean, really, she was my and her father did legal work.
Thanks for your service.
Yep. To buy the house that I grew up in. I mean, we're talking decades.
And you touched on this before, but if you were to sum up what draws you to Platner, what's making you, like, what is it about him, if somebody a word or sentence that is like tipping you towards him?
His drive.
His strive.
Drive.
Sorry.
Yeah.
His drive. Okay. All right. Wait. I know I asked you for a word, but can you say like another? Just tell me what you mean by that.
He has the energy, and is more than willing, and preparing himself to go in and do the fight. That's relatively rare. You know, he's got the drive, he's got the focus, he's got good ideas, he's thought them through. But yeah, he's doing it for the right reasons, and he's focused on what he wants to do. I mean, I've lived through Paul Page. I've been voting in politics in Maine since the late 70s. So I've seen a lot of it. And that's it. It's the drive. He's not going to back down. He's not afraid of taking people on.
Okay, my last question is, you seem, just from what you were saying about Schumer and Democratic leaders, like you're a little frustrated with them. Is that right, or is that, how would you characterize your approach towards Democratic?
I have a Japanese friend, I'll send it to her.
I'm very frustrated with them. The majority.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Did you serve or?
No.
Well,
I admire people who did though, so I wanted to thank
did
you.
Did you do volunteer work? 2 years of volunteer work?
I did a bit of Peace Corps, so that's
my
something.
dad taught me that. You know,
Nice.
Going to Boy Scout when I was growing up.
Oh yeah, that counts.
That's important.
Yeah, that counts. I want to ask you, I have a little YouTube. Can I ask you what you thought about today or what you think about Graham?
No, he's the real McCoy. There's no question about it. Second time I've heard him speak, amazingly well informed, and he's very positive, upbeat, and he gives the message.
Very well put.
Get out there and do something. So we're gonna fight for this.
Was it ever thought in your head between Janet Mills or Graham Platner, or was it always kind of Graham early on?
It was Graham early on. Once I heard he's a veteran, and I like the oyster fisherman. Too,
Yeah,
the,
it's a nice
the
mix.
Real solid Mainer, you know. So absolutely. And then when I heard him last week, he was like he was today. Interesting. His talk was slightly, that I like too, very well spoken, very well informed, but he was a little bit different, and I like that. It showed
Interesting.
More
So
depth.
you went to a different event. This is your second event?
This is my second
Oh, how
event.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Was the other one a little bigger?
Yes.
So yeah, I like that combination. He'll do these massive things to have these very intimate things where you
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
get close
yeah,
to
yeah,
him
yeah.
and ask the question. And what issue is most important to you in this election?
I do think he's going
Winning.
I love it.
Him winning.
Democratic
I was
Senate.
gonna
Amen.
Say, what's better, than a 41-year-old bearded guy and an 87-year-old bearded guy.
Right.
It's the younger guy winning the U.S. Senate seat for Maine.
That's it.
How about
He's the
that?
right guy. That's beautifully put.
Okay.
I like it. Well, it's an honor
Thank
to
you
meet
for
you.
what you're doing, my pleasure.
Thank you for your service.
volunteer
It's been a
service.
privilege.
Thank
Well, of
for your
course,
volunteer
it's the least I could do. You did the
No,
most
no,
of it,
no,
so I could do
well,
the least of
okay,
it.
yeah. Sounds good.
It's an honor to meet you. Thank you. You too.
Doing the same thing you've always done, you're going to get the results you always got. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, the Democrats did not take enough advantage when Obama was president. They could have done so much more, and they didn't. And my feeling, there are two reasons where we are. I am sorry, but Ronald Reagan, all of you have gone
Let me know if you need
up-
help with anything, carrying
No,
anything. You
thank you very
Okay,
kind.
no
I'm
worries.
all right. Yeah, thank you.
Ronald Reagan started trickle-down economics, the welfare queens, that whole thing about people are less than, and they're not. Most of the people I know who are on food stamps and subsidy work their asses off and do their budgets to the penny. And I'm really tired of going online and thinking, oh, you do see. Seriously, it is a disaster. But like he said, it didn't start with Trump. It started with Reagan and the air traffic controllers and welfare queens and all of that stuff, which has turned into every single thing we have today. I mean, and I remember my husband and I was married to at the time, was first generation Italian. You know, diehard corporate kind of guy. And election day, when might have been the second election, I don't remember. We came home and my daughter, who was 6 at the time, and she says, well, who did you vote for? And I'm doing the whole, well, you know, private ballot, and I'm telling, you know, and Frank's going, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, you know, it's a private ballot, and we have to do all this and all that, the DDD. My daughter's so like, well, who did you vote for? This is what I voted for at school. And finally, Frank looked at me and said, who did you vote for? And it was Geraldine Ferraro was the VP.
84, Mondale.
Mondale.
Sure.
I said I voted for Mondale, and he goes, "What? What that?" And it just absolutely lost it. And I hadn't decided until about 3 days before that election. And I was listening to other people and going, "Yeah, we can't have this guy. This is a disaster, and it's only going to get worse." The other reason we're in the mess we are is because an eloquent, elegant, classy, highly intelligent, sophisticated black man was president twice. And unfortunately, there are way, way too many people left in this country that have a problem with it. For me, a huge part of the issue with Trump and his administration is I have 3 children. One is born to me, one I adopted from Bogota, Colombia, and one I adopted from Cambodia. They're naturalized citizens. Maya was very, very, very sick when she came here, and she sucks up a whole lot of medical care. And I thought when I had them naturalized, I didn't have to worry about it. But to know that there are so many people in the administration who don't value my children. I was going to go to Europe to go on a cruise last year with her. After a few people said, make sure you take your citizenship papers, with you, even though she has a passport. It always has. Oh my God.
I got the surveys in the box. I will pass them on to
The
Arthur.
country and everything is so volatile. I can't guarantee if I sail out of London that 2 weeks later when I get back, she'll get back in the country. And I can't risk that. Like I said, I grew up in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, and we did all this once. We did some of it twice before. And how the hell are we in 2025 dealing with the exact same thing?
All of this? We did all of this, you said. What? All of what?
Abortion rights, civil rights, safety nets for people. In 1979, a woman who needed financial support for her family wasn't treated as though she was sitting home and watching TV and eating bonbons all day. We worked hard to educate people. I felt safer in 1980 than I feel now.
You're frustrated.
I'm extraordinarily frustrated. I'm also very angry. I've had a stroke. Maya consumes literally tens of thousands of healthcare every year because she's got an exceedingly rare genetic disorder and also severe failure to thrive. She was in the hospital for 5 days in March. Luckily, she's disabled, so she gets Medicare.
So I think I understand. I just want to make sure I do. Frustrated or angry. It's with both Trump and National Democrats.
I'm angry with the whole thing.
The whole political?
I'm angry. Okay.
With the whole thing, meaning what?
Okay, let me back up. I am very frustrated that the Democrats aren't doing what they could do. Trump and his minions terrify me. It is not just anger. It is, you are undermining our very existence. The country that I live in 2026 is not the country I lived in 2000 at all. And I truly never believed or even conceived that democracy could die in my lifetime. And that's a very, very real risk. Two of my children are people of color. My son, God bless him, was out in Pittsburgh. And back when ICE was around here, he was one of the people that was going out and filming what was going on with ICE in the Pittsburgh
God bless
area.
him. Important work.
And I'm like, oh my God, Joe, what are you
Yes.
doing? And the other part of me is
Risky,
I'm
yeah.
so
I know.
proud of you. I am so proud of you. You don't know how proud I am of you, but oh my God, please don't open your mouth and say a right thing like I know you can. Why do I have to think like that as a mother now? I am extraordinarily grateful that all the males in my family are not in draft age. And to go back to the Democrats and minor things, which sounds like my two grandchildren go to the Augusta, Maine school system. They're cutting $6.9 million out of the school budget this year. My grandson has been through a lot. His mother has a very debilitating chronic disease. He's probably on the cusp, sort of autistic. And he's been through a lot at a very young age. Every morning he goes to the social worker's office in his school, as does his sister. And if you can go in and see her, his day is okay. It's sort of, comfort. The Augusta school system just eliminated all of the social worker positions in the entire district. They're eliminating 16 teaching positions. My daughter called me up and said, Mom, you got to do your curious grandmother take on the world thing. And I went and looked at the budget and I went, oh my God, it's a $380,000 budget line that they're eliminating. I can be all of that you want, but I can't help with a $380,000 budget line. I can't. It was just her, maybe. I'm worried. I'm worried about my grandchildren. I'm worried about the health of my children. I am 42 years older than Maya. Someday I'm going to be gone. she will need to she will never be able to live alone. What's going to happen to her? So I am frustrated with the Democrats. I am appalled at the Republicans, and cannot believe that such a large percentage of my fellow citizens think he's okay or think he's awesome. I just,
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for.
Where are you from?
I have a little YouTube. Thank you for letting me bum off your questions. I'm from New York, so I spend like half of the year traveling the country, and I'll cover any election that has consequence. So I did like a month in Texas, covered the New York City mayoral election.
I knew you had to be somebody you had a tie on. There weren't
Yeah.
many ties in there.
No, I was the only one.
What's your name?
Dodge, like the car. It's
Okay,
a strange
thank you.
name. If you search like Dodge Graham Platner, you'll be able to find it.
okay.
Appreciate it. Well, you're awesome, though. I
right,
hope
thank
you run for office someday. Consider it. Just
I
think
thought
about it. I'm glad you have, but it's too much of a headache. I don't blame you.
I couldn't do it anymore. I mean, I have days
Okay, yeah.
that
I mean, look
barely
what,
get out of
yeah,
bed and
you're
walk.
and you're dealing with your daughter and everything, getting her the care she needs. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought about it one time. And the other thing
Okay,
is
glad you
that
have.
the Maine legislature pays diddly.
Yeah, that is true too.
And it doesn't pay.
Yeah. No, it has to be part-time, yeah.
$15,000 the first session and $7,500 the second session?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Right.
And by the way,
Good
we have
point.
problems because of term limits in Maine, which I could tell you another time.
Yeah.
Serious problem because of term limits.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
And who are you with?
I work for Japanese newspaper. I'm
Oh,
from
cool.
Japan, yeah.
Oh.
Well, good to meet all you guys. Thank you. Pleasure to meet you. All right, guys. I'm gonna enjoy a big bowl of clam chowder. Please do subscribe. I'm the only one covering this on the ground. Going to these places in person, staying at little motels. So I hope you enjoyed it. All right, guys. Love you all. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.